Okay, welcome back. This is M-Dog, and we're back at 84, 147, or thereabouts. And no fish yet. We just threw the lines in the water, and it seems like the first one is going to be a decent one. I really not doing a whole lot different this time in terms of the approach to this spot. I do have the really large size pellets on the third rod. The hope is that maybe we'll catch one decent fish over there on the third rod while it's morning. It's 5:41 in the morning right now. Once we do get our first fish, I'll probably switch it down to something smaller so we have a little better bite rate. Or if we don't get a fish, then I'll just bring it in. But yeah, this seems like a decent one. Can't get a feel for it yet on what it really is size-wise, but well, it's swimming towards us now, so let me not. Alright, so we're using krill pellets 18, salmon 20, krill. I'll show you the PVA again. In fact, I'm about to make some more PVA. I think I'm going to make the smaller, the 10 kilo, so that if we do run out of these while I'm fishing here, I'll just switch to the 10 gram, not kilo, 10 gram bags of PVA. This seems like a pretty good fish, though. It's crazy to hit a decent one like first fish. The spot didn't even have to warm up or anything. On the other hand, we haven't gotten a second fish on yet. You're probably already familiar with this spot. I have certainly fished here a few times, and other people in the community have been fishing here a lot in the last 2 or 3 weeks, maybe longer. In fact, I feel like even over the past 2 or 3 weeks, the baits, again, maybe even longer than that, the bait preferences have changed a little bit maybe, but the spot this has been a hot spot for a while now. And off and on, this is kind of always one of the hot spots, but this is where we are on the map in E4. In terms of casting it, we're 35 meter clip, typically casting over there at peg 1. I think I have braid on there, don't I? Yeah. It's always worth having braid on at amber, in case you hit that really big carp. Give you as much of a chance as possible getting it under control before you get spooled. It's taken a while to get in, mostly, I mean, just because it's a reasonably good sized fish. Also just because it was a fighter. I mean, at first, it really did take a good bit of our line while I was sitting here trying to get set up to start recording. It jumped on the bait and took off and ripped some line out. It's nice with carp, though. I mean, if you have the gear for it, even the decent sized ones. Now, a big trophy can fight for a while, but normally, even the ones that are fighting you a little bit, they tend to get tired fairly quickly. I mean, it's not like a sturgeon or something like that. You know, I mean, I've had some epic 45-minute plus fights against those really big sturgeon. You're just kind of holding on for dear life, trying to keep it in front of you, trying to not lose the fish. You can have some good fights with carp, but it tends to not be that long. I guess the closest thing to it would be sometimes the really big wild carp and stuff like that at tuba, much like the sturgeon. They can give you a run for your money in that current at tuba. We're getting him in here. In fact, it won't be long till we get our first little view of him. I mean, I feel like if it's a common, it's a trophy. I'd have to look to see how much wear we have on our line, our leader, that kind of stuff. It might be possible that it's like a troll, almost trophy-sized fish. Again, it's according to what type of carp it is. If it's not a trophy, then I'd guess it's more like it's a mirror or something like that. It's hard for me to imagine this being a common carp and only being 19 kilos, but I guess it's possible. Again, some of that depends on the wear and tear of your equipment. But I'm feeling pretty good about this if it's a common. If it's not a common, then I think it could go either way. Not every fish fight is the same. Okay, that is definitely not a common. Although it looks like it's pretty big, so... But you know what I mean? Sometimes you fight a fish that just takes forever, and it's just a lot smaller than you thought it was going to be. Or sometimes you get one in pretty quick, and it was like a sneaky little trophy. I think this is going to be right at a trophy, right? Oh my goodness. See what I mean? Just under. Just under. Yikes. Now, does this have a fish on it, or is it just playing with it? Like, that was tight, so something might be happening. What a first fish. 0.825 grams away from being a trophy. No. 0.825 kilograms. 825. Oh, I should stop doing math. Let's just let it be. It's a little less than a trophy. That's what I'm trying to say. So 1 kilo is 1,000 grams, right? So 800 and something grams, that would have been correct. I think that's right. I think that is correct. So I think maybe by 10:30 a.m. if we haven't gotten something on rod 3, we ought to switch it. It's slow enough bite rate without slowing it down with the big pellets. Again, unless you're going to be sort of tabbed out doing other stuff. Let's see if we have anything that's got some wear on it. Yeah, there's some wear. 8.2% on the leader. It's not terrible, though. Might be time to replace leaders before too much longer, but it's not too bad. I mean, that was about right, though. I mean, we got it in pretty quick. But I think I've caught trophy mirrors that have fought about that much. You know, it's, again, not every fish is the same kind of thing. I'm pretty sure the fish is on here, but since we only catch them every few minutes, let's be sure of it. Yeah, we're good. So this is what we were doing last time. Oh yeah, and this is the other change I made. We are using the soluble salmon and herb soluble over here on the middle rod. As you can see, it's not working out great so far, but thought we'd try it a little bit. Not too much longer till we switch this third one. I just can't sit here too long. Oh yeah, let me just check something real quick. The Fisher Online, the server was brought down. I'm just curious if it's back up. I'm not going to play it right now, obviously, while we're making this video, but I did want to check it. I was going to do another episode later tonight if the server's back up. Okay, yeah, it looks like they're back up now. That's good. So that was only down about 10 minutes, looks like. Come on. Come on, Rod 3. Do something for us. Yeah, this is too slow. All right, we're way past 10:30. So, oh yeah, I was gonna make the PVA so you could see what that looked like too. Tell you what, I might go the other direction with this. 18 and what if we go 14 or we go 16? I'm gonna try 14. Let's see if we can stir up some bites here. Alright, so the ground bait. First of all, we want to crush up some salmon boilies. Then we want to make the dry mix. Mostly this is going to be krill stuff. Let's do salmon in here first. The crushed boilies go here. And then we'll load up on krill. So we want the krill 12. And then the krill 4 and krill 8. And red krill attractant. Now the only difference is we're going to put this, instead of last time we did the 20 gram stick, we're going to do 10 gram this time. I just think that's more appropriate for this spot right now. Could be wrong, but alright, do we have smaller pellets we could put on there as well? Yeah, we could put krill 14 pellets. That's what we should do. Really embrace the small on one of these rods. Try to get a better bite rate. This fish is a little bigger than it first looked like. It was sort of swimming parallel slightly towards the shore, so we were like benefiting from you know, didn't see the full weight of the fish at first. Still not going to be very big, but looks like it's another mirror. So 2 mirror and 1 common. This is what we were seeing a lot of last time we fished here, was mostly mirror and commons. Certainly some people are reportedly catching rares here, although it's been a while since I've had a rare. Maybe this is slowing us down a little bit too. It's like we're at 20 minutes and we've had I was trying to figure that out. Yeah, we've had 3 fish. I was trying to figure out how that math works, but it's because we fought that fish for like 8 minutes. 7, 8 minutes. That's how that works. Yeah, we're getting a better bite rate on the first line. That middle line is a little too slow. Tell you what, let's go ahead and switch everything. We're going to switch it to the 10 kilo PVA bags. Those 20 gram bags might be intimidating the fish. That's a frame, isn't it? Okay, same thing here. Let's switch out the bag, and we're also going to switch the secondary bait. Guess we'll go back to this. So the first and second line are identical. Now we're about to be very much embracing the small here. That's okay. I just want to catch some fish, to be honest with you. So I want to see if this makes a difference. Over the course of time, that should significantly increase the bite rate. But it will increase the amount of those like juveniles we're getting and that kind of thing too. Hopefully this just isn't an unlucky day in terms of the conditions. I knew that was going to be too quick. I don't know why I picked it up. Thankfully, we did not ruin it. Still can't tell. Alright, we're starting to catch a couple of fish here and there. Let's hope it continues. Let's hope it continues. Really surprised we haven't had a bite on line 3. The real test, I guess, would be to switch all 3 to that bait, but still though. Alright, let's don't mess this bite up. Let's actually see what we get on there. Okay. It's small, but it's not too small. With the smaller pellet and smaller boilies, we could also start to see a little higher percentage of, you know, like eyed or something else, maybe barbel or something. But those 3 kilo commons will add up, especially with the cheaper baits and cheaper PVA bag. It's not bad. At least it gives you something to do while you're waiting for something good to come on the other 2 lines. There we go. Pretty good bite rate all of a sudden. Couple of... Ooh, this is decent. Yeah, if you start catching them like this with this bait setup... I remember somebody in the comment section of the last video I did here said something like they were using smaller baits, but then getting such a good bite rate, they were, you know, catching 400, 600 silver an hour. Which may be the case. I think the only pushback would be... If you're willing to be patient, you can still probably make that much with the bigger baits, and then sometimes you can make a lot more than that when you hit a couple trophies in an hour or hit one of the, you know, a couple of rares or a bigger rare or whatever. So, but especially if you're like newer to amber, don't have full gear, always think about using smaller baits and having a smaller average size, but a higher percentage of catching things. Definitely worth thinking about. Alright, I'm going to try to wait a little bit longer. You know, I was kind of looking, I was trying to figure out, oh, that's not what I wanted to go to. I was trying to figure out where I might want to fish in RF4 today. And it was just like so much of sort of the same spots I've seen recently. Just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. There's been so many good carp caught though. I just, at the end of the day, was like, we'll just go see how carp is doing for an hour. And still seems like it's okay. It's been pretty consistent in this spot that morning bite I've been pretty disappointed in. Over the course of the day, I end up doing pretty well. But compared to what it often is like, the morning has not been quite as good as I would expect. Another mirror, I think. Lots of mirror right now. Mostly it just looked like good fish at Archipelago and Amber in terms of spots I was looking at. I did have fun doing ultralight fishing at the Tunguska Creek, though. That was good fun. I did that for a couple days. That was really fun. I think there's also, seems like a pretty good float fishing spot at Tunguska. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have time or make the time to go check that out, but I always enjoy fishing for the little whitefish and stuff on match rods at Tunguska. That's usually pretty good fun. An active spot at Belaya for grayling. That could also be fun. So I'm digging a little deeper and finding some spots that at least do look a little bit interesting to me right now. I haven't done that like on my main account. Go back to grayling and try to hit some decent grayling. Go back to Belaya and try to hit some decent grayling. Like I haven't done that in a while. That could be fun. Alright, we're going to go, I don't know, till about 2100 at the most. What have we done? So this smaller setup is actually doing pretty good. I think it's actually showing some promise. Oof. But this is why you have the big stuff on, because every once in a while you hit a decent one. Not that you couldn't hit this on the smaller stuff, but I think, you know, it just moves your numbers. Your chances just go down a little bit, probably. I think we could just about just lock this fish up and bring him in, but why take a chance? He's just barely able to pull at 29. I think at 30 we would just very slowly, carefully drag him, but again, not really worth it. He wants to stay right where he's at. Not any closer, not any further. Well, if it's a mirror, it feels smaller than the last one, but not by a lot, just by a little. Therefore, if it's common, is it a trophy? I don't know. This is one of those that's too close to tell for me. It does not look like a common, right? Okay. Is that a frame? It's like when a frame carp is big enough that it looks like a mirror. Wow. That's a nice fish to catch on happy hour, by the way. Alright, frame-sided carp. I've hit an unusual, I think, amount of frame trophies in this past few months. More than other carp species. And for a long time, I couldn't get a frame trophy. And then it's like the floodgate opened. It's kind of strange. What is this? A little mirror, I guess? Alright, remember this is the small bait setup, so this is the downside, right? And why you definitely want to use the smaller PVA if you're going to use the smaller boilies and stuff. Alright, let's go see how we did in a very shortened amount of time. Obviously this is not enough time to get a feel really on how this spot's doing, but overall it still seems healthy, although I still feel like maybe the best way to approach this spot is to just, you know, put your stuff in and do something else and just listen for the bites. It's a little slow, at least with the big stuff on. But it ends up paying off because, you know, you get trophies sometimes, you get pretty big fish at times. Just some of the moments seem really slow. And what's really surprised me is just that the morning bite hasn't taken off like morning bites often do. What a crummy cafe order setup there. Alright, so we only had 14 fish, although we had a trophy frame and an almost trophy mirror, so they'll be worth something. But it definitely wasn't our best carp fishing ever. So 357, not bad for how many fish it is, but again, just a little slow. Okay, hey, thanks for watching. I'll take a look at that grayling spot, see what else is out there. Again, we'll just see what I have time for tonight. But tight lines, everybody. Let me know how your carp fishing's going. I'll see you next time.